Hello everyone, hope you're having a good day and welcome to another 9 sticks tutorial. Now last time on this particular file we looked at a basic stick figure animation. It was just took you through my thought process, my way of doing things when animating stickmen. And today we are just going to finish it off by putting someone on the receiving end of these blows right here. Okay, so where do we start? Of course, by making new layers. That's always the way to start. Go stickman 2, head 2. Okay, now where does this stickman start? Well, you got a couple of options. Depends what you want to do. You can make him start right where the punch is, which is right here. You can make him start a little further back and make him go forward towards the punch. You can make it start all the way over here and run all the way over here just to get punched. We're not going to do that today because it would take too long unless of course you do a run loop, but I'll save that for another tutorial. Now before you even draw this guy, there's one thing you can do to make things easier for yourself. I personally don't do this. I probably should. There's no reason not to do this. It makes things like easier for you, especially when you've got punches. Like each punch, each hit, like this one, and then the next one, is moving to the right a bit, moving to the right, to the right. So you know in which order they're going to come in. Now I'll show you what I mean in a moment. So I make a new layer. This is just a guide layer, another guide layer. It's not going to actually be part of the animation. It's just to help you with your animating. Now, another thing I can do, because I've done this animation using object drawing, just select his arm and copy it into this frame right here. And do that for the rest of them. Copy, go back to the layer, paste. Again, copy, go back to the layer, paste, and one more time, copy using Control-C, and pasting in the same place using Control-Shift-V. And there we go, we have all of them on one layer, and now all we have to do is change the color. That's something, let's move that down. Okay. Now you know where each punch is going to be. And this is for the dude at the receiving end of these punches. Where is he going to start now? It's kind of easier to decide now because you can see exactly where the first punch is, right here. The way I animate, for me, it's a lot about just feeling it out as I'm doing it. Sometimes I plan ahead. I might use a storyboard, which I don't do that often, but that does help. Or I just type out in a notepad what's going to happen. A good way of keeping your animating going is knowing what you're going to do next. If you don't know what you're going to do next, you kind of have that mental block, and you might just stop animating for a little while because you're not sure what to do next. Make a decision and stick to it. But sometimes whilst you're animating, ideas will come to your head as well. Here, I'm kind of torn between three options. I could make him start right here and then back off as he's coming towards him, like you don't want to fight. Could make him stand here and just take the punches like he doesn't know they're coming, a bit clueless. Or I could make him stand here and move towards him as the punches are coming in. And I've made my decision. I'm going to make him stand right here. Now, bearing in mind, these right here, I very rarely do this, and I have no idea why, because it is pretty helpful. But it does get a bit. Say you're animating a complicated fight where they're moving one way, then another way, then one way, then another way. It's very to and fro kind of fight. This will get a bit messy. These right here will be going back and forth. You could get a bit lost, depending as well how you do it as well. You could do it in small sections if you wanted to. But me personally, I've never really had to do this, or never really decided to do it. I've done it once or twice before. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I really do think that doing this helps. Now let's give this man a head. Everyone knows you need a head. Now that he has a head, let's just get rid of it for a moment. We don't really need it right now. And if you remember in our previous tutorial, what did we use last time to get the animation started? Yes, the free transformation tool. And I'm just going to decide where to lean him back. Another thing I like to do is add blank keyframes on the frames where an attack happens. So you know roughly how many frames you have to animate before he gets attacked. It gives you kind of an idea. There you go, 4 frames. Oh, I forgot onion skin. Can't do that. Alright, there we go. Time to lean him back. Hold the Alt key for this version of Animate anyway. And just slowly, he is realizing that this dude is coming in with a fist. Hey. And first we'll bring his front leg up a little bit, because that's the leg he's using to step back. And what we want to do, we don't want him to go back too far, because I kind of want an impact to the punch. Say he goes back too far, say all the way back here, that's like right at the edge of his fist, and you're not really going to see the impact of that punch if he is that far back. Another cool thing you can do is when you're animating, like this little section I'm animating before the punch, I don't have to be like super precise with my timings right now, because I can always just move these frames a little earlier by selecting them, or a little later. One convenient thing about animating with Adobe Animate, I mean, I personally haven't used any other animating software other than Adobe Animate, apart from Fireworks, that was many years ago, and started recently animating with Blender. This frame, I'm just going to make a double frame, and boom. So here's something to really keep in mind. Is his leg far back enough that he's going to keep his balance after that punch? That's a question you gotta keep in mind, because if it's too far forward, like for example over here, and he gets punched, he should really be hitting the deck right now. But that's another thing about animating, especially with stick figures. You don't always have to obey the rules of physics. These are stick figures. They break them all the time. But for my particular style, I like to keep things, as closely aligned with gravity as I can, but at the same time, it's stick figures. Now, one thing I like to do here, because I know there's another punch coming almost immediately after this punch. Like say it was just this punch on its own, I would animate it something like this, where he feels the impact of the punch. You know, he goes back, and you know, by the time the second punch has come, he's not even anywhere near that. But that's if it was just one punch. That's how I'd be animating it right now. You know, something like not exactly like that. You know, obviously a bit more time spent on that. But since he is coming in with another punch, I am going to make his body fling back and forth, kind of like a pendulum. And there we go. And we can see oops, just trying to play the animation, maybe not too far back. There we go, that's how I want it. And then we continue the animation with the kick. Again, I just want to emphasize the reason I am not drawing the arms yet is because I want to focus on the body and the legs completely. For this section, that's the way I animate, that's the way I like to do things. It helps to focus on as little as possible as I can. Okay, didn't realize this before, but I wanted to face the thing that why is object drawing off? I must have turned it off accidentally. Didn't mean to do that. That means I have to delete the frame and redraw it because I didn't like where his body was. And there we go, the last kick. And this man is finally hitting the deck. That's the thing about animation. It almost feels like you spent ages on one small piece of the animation. But you know, it really is worth it in the end. You just take things one frame at a time. Don't try and think about the whole thing whilst you're animating. Just think, okay, what am I doing next? What is the next thing I am doing? And you know, get around so much easier. Get things done so much easier. Now this is the last kick, so we're making sure he feels the impact of this. I'll make his body a little more that. Show you. Curve it a bit more, so. And finally, he's going to land. Okay, and he's on the floor. But as you notice, his body kind of stops suddenly. Which, you know, it's fine. It depends how you want to animate it. That's not really my style. I like to smooth things out, as I said quite a few times in the previous tutorial. But we're going to get to that momentarily. First, let's draw the arms. Let's get him to try and at least put his arms up. Nope, he was too late in putting his arms up. Too slow, my guy. And he's turned around there, so his arms go there. And back around. And oof. And his arms are drawn. Now, before I draw these last few frames, let's just go do the head real quick. Again, using the arrow keys for those small movements, as I like to do. And also, you want to make sure as well, snap to objects is off. It was off already, but I'm just turning it on to show you how annoying it can be to move. If I just want to move this slightly, and snap to objects is on, it kind of makes things a little bit difficult. And then I have to use the arrow keys. But sometimes I just want to use the mouse because it's a bit faster. Right there. Snap to objects was off, so I can move it. Okay, there we go. Head is animated. And now what I want to do, make his body slide across towards the right. And the way I like to do it is, first of all, on this last frame, I move his head to this layer right here. So it's all in one layer, so I can select it all frame by frame and just use the arrow keys. If you want big movements, you hold shift and use the arrow keys to move. If you don't, you just use the arrow keys, and you know, you'll get there eventually. It's a bit slower though. Now, obviously he's just hit the ground, so at first I'm going to hold shift and just move it a few. And obviously it gets slower and slower as it goes along. There we go. Okay, and we no longer need this layer, so you know, you can hide it, delete it, do what you want with it. Okay, and that is the end of this animation, or this tutorial, not this animation. Next time we're going to be looking at effects you can add to the punches, little effects here and here to enhance the animation a little bit. And yeah, that's what we'll be focusing on next, probably. I'll play it by ear. In the meantime, you may have noticed up here as well, and that you know, working on a little sunk right here, and it is coming along very well. And you should be seeing this animation released soon. I want to say in the next couple of weeks, but sometimes things take longer than I first anticipate they're gonna. So I ain't gonna say nothing, but you should be seeing this very soon. Have a nice day, guys. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please click that subscribe button. It helps out the channel so much. Until next time, don't forget to save your animation.